Hello, all. Welcome to Hockey on Tap podcast, episode 169. I'm your host, Bill Dean. I'm, of course, here with my three co-hosts, Shorts Guy, Steven, Schwim.
Woo! The band is back together.
Yep, band's back together.
Boys are back in
we
town.
We also have another visitor. My daughter's right here. She won't go to sleep. But
Hi,
we're brought to you by
Sarah.
Primetime Radio,
Hi, Sarah.
courtesy. Yep, there she is. Courtesy of Mr. Sam Wu. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Please leave us a 5-star review if you'd be ever so kind. Gents, there she is. Gents, what are we drinking?
Hi.
Hey, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. Sarah loved it.
Good job.
I was waving to Sarah from the rink on Saturday. I think she loved it.
She's showing everybody her Mario's PJs.
Oh, wow.
Woo!
That's 2 thumbs up.
Sweet.
I support that. All right, I'll start. I have Record Store Day, Catchy Chorus, Hazy Double
Very
IPA, 9%. I'm feeling a little punchy tonight, so I'm going to have a beer that I probably
Nice.
shouldn't. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Besides, it's
Schwim?
the holiday week, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, Steven.
Schweden trunk.
Didn't throw.
Probably not saying that correct.
Those Spanish people.
Schwarzbier dark lager brewed with Southern German malt noble hops and lagered for 2 months. Whatever that means.
Ooh.
It's not bad.
Cool.
It's pretty good. I had it the other
Looks like-
Schwimmy.
day.
I'm going to do this to Schwim, force feed him
There you go.
Yeah.
Coors Light once he has his child.
Hey,
Oh
hey,
my God.
hey! When we go down to Delaware, you guys can't leave me alone at the bar because you
true.
know what's
True.
going to happen.
Because
You're going to come
Coors
back
Lights
this
appear anytime we we don't keep our eye on Shorts Guy. Coors Lights just magically appear.
Coors Lights just appear right in front of us,
4 Coors Lights, please. Let's go.
no matter
Yeah.
where we are.
I'm
We're sitting
drinking
at the
a
Dogfish
collab.
bar. Just gonna have 4 Coors
Yeah,
Lights.
somehow we only get Coors Lights at the Dogfish bar.
I'll make it happen.
All right, Sean, I'm sorry.
All right,
For
real
interrupting.
quick, I'm drinking. It's a collaboration between Abomination and Hoof Hearted Brewing. Little Red Riding Hoof, it's called. It's a triple
That's pretty cool
IPA.
looking.
Pretty cool looking can.
Nice.
Triple IPA, 9.7%, and I think it has 5 different types of hops. And I'm pairing it
hops?
with
Oh,
Pretzels,
God, he's going
of
to be
course.
crunching away over there.
crunching away over here.
Yeah, he's gonna be chopping.
Crunch.
Chopping.
Hey, you know what? You know what? Along with your Coors Light down in Delaware, I'm going to make sure
Alright.
that you have some pretzel bites from the Dogfish Group.
Oh, God. Dogfish Head
Heck
Pretzel
yeah.
Bites and Coors Light. That sounds like a dream come true.
Oh, I know it is your dream come true.
Oh,
What are you
my
drinking,
God.
Dean? As your
Yeah,
father.
yeah, that was I'm fathering. So this is actually from Alicia. This is not the beer from. She just got back from Mykonos in Greece, but this is from
Greece.
Birmingham, Alabama, by
Grease.
Uproot Brews. It's called Nectar, and it is a sour ale with passion fruit and guava. Pretty good.
Nice.
So, thank you, Aunt Alicia. All right, here's our weekly snapshot. Well, today's episode, obviously, is your weekly snapshot. I'm, of course, here with Toddler, who's talking. So,
That's okay.
listen. Edmonton, Vancouver, Game 7 tonight determines who faces Dallas in the Western Conference Finals. McDavid and Draisaitl. Steve, and I know we talk about points for these two, and it's absurd. Right? I think it's 79 and 60 the last 3 seasons. 79 and 69, 70 and 69 points the last 3 seasons for these two in the playoffs. It's about 20 or 30 points ahead of the next guy. But this stat is very interesting, and it's one that shows that these two guys are ballers. McDavid and Draisaitl have 30 points combined in 9 playoff elimination games. Oh, they're averaging over 3 points a game, these two guys. And that's where I think kind of this team, I think that they get the win today. Unfortunately, our friend of the podcast, Brock Besser's out with blood clots. We wish him all the best. But it's it's a tough thing to lose one of your top 6 players. A winger that can kind of take the team on his back. He's done that in multiple games this postseason series. And you're relying on someone like Elias Pettersson, who's kind of been a no-show for the most part. You want him to do some good things. as Sarah pulls out the Rangers hockey glove. You want your best players to show up in big moments, and Draisaitl McDavid can do that for
Kyle.
Edmonton, and you need Elias Pettersson and JT Miller and Quinn Hughes to do that in this series. I'll let you guys chat.
Yeah, they need somebody to match that at least, because we know they're not going to shut them down. I don't know of a team ever that's just shut down Draisaitl and McDavid, or one and not the other. So they're going to have something that can match what they bring. This hopefully won't end up like Game 6 was kind of a blowout. Obviously,
Yeah,
I
it
would
was
say,
boring.
Shilov's is kind of. Do you trust Shilov's? But then again, Edmonton's goaltending is also terrible, so you can't really match that. I don't know. I picked Edmonton to start the series. I actually thought Edmonton was going to steamroll Vancouver, but I think Vancouver has done admirably in this series. I don't know. I honestly can't tell you how Game 7 is going to go.
Either way. Like I can't.
Yeah.
I can't
It can.
see.
It can.
I don't see what happening last game happening again. I don't see them Edmonton blowing them out. I think it'll at least be a closer game, but I think it could be the other way. I think Vancouver could go if Skinner has one of his, patented
Skinner games.
Yeah, garbage games. Vancouver
Mike
could be
Smith
all over them.
trying to be like Mike Smith.
You forgot the Lightning legend.
Oh,
part.
Lightning Legend. Yes, trying to be like
Mike
Lightning
Smith.
Legend Mike Smith.
So
yeah.
I have no idea. It's about tonight. I think it can obviously go either way. But again, I think I picked. Did I pick Edmonton? I think I did.
I think I picked Vancouver.
It's hard to bet
remember.
against Draisaitl and McDavid.
It really is.
like this, especially against a team like Vancouver, who I think they had a very impressive season, but I'm not that impressed with them as a whole, to be completely honest. I do think that they are a flawed team that had come together, played well. Superstars played very well coached. But I don't know. It's hard to bet against McDavid and Draisaitl in this game, just because I don't. If it was like Edmonton, if it was Game 7, Edmonton, Dallas, then maybe I could see Dallas coming in and putting a hurt on these guys. But I just don't see anybody there in Vancouver that can slow them down. So I think Edmonton should take
now no Besser.
Yeah.
That's two pretty
It's
big, pretty big blows.
Yeah, obviously Demko's a big one. So
yeah. Do you guys know who's most concerned about the result of tonight's game?
Dallas.
Property owners around the arena.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Vancouver.
Closer they get.
Vancouver has quite a reputation of not reacting to loss as well. I know I don't react well to losses, but I mean, we've all seen that picture of Sam's cousin with the hockey stick. So
I guarantee you though, it's going to be whoever loses. It's going to be the official's fault.
Yes. Yeah, it's a complete and total official failure.
I mean, it is, but at the same time, that's just who they blame, and that's what's going to happen, and that's what's going to get them mad. It's not going to be, it could be a 7-0 game, and it'll be the official's fault.
Yeah,
for 6 of those 7 goals. But anyway.
So yeah, obviously everyone's tuning into this game. The winner will face Dallas, and this is where I kind of want to get into our. Well, actually, quick thing. Everyone talks about retread coaches, and how we're kind of sick of them, right? You're sick of the guys that cycle from team to team. I have one on my team, and I wasn't very happy in the beginning that they got him. Obviously, he had a very good year, but the 3 coaches already in the conference finals are Peter Laviolette with 6 teams, Paul Maurice with 5 teams, including coaching Carolina twice, Pete DeBoer another 5 teams, and if Rick Tocchet gets in, it'll be 3 teams. Obviously, Knobloch, if he makes it, he's a first-time coach. But retread coaches, ruling the conference finals at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, but those coaches get jobs because they're good at what they do. They're just, they don't last for very long wherever they are. I mean, they have skill. That's without a doubt. All those coaches you mentioned have skill. And
there's a reason
I really feel like, I really feel like a retread is really more like when you go back.
His record in Game 7s is unbelievable.
It's incredible. I kind of feel like a retread is when you go back to a coach that you've had before that just didn't work out. That to me feels more
Well-
like a retread than
Like Buffalo.
Recycled, maybe.
I don't know, because these guys all get jobs because they're good, and but that's the cycle of the NHL. It's very much like you have to win now, and if you don't win now, your time is limited. With the exception of a couple like Cooper, Sullivan, and it is
Rob
Bednar
Brind'Amour.
in Colorado, Brind'Amour now. A lot of these guys have very, very short, varying from 3 to 5 years at the max. The only
Well,
one that's
you
a
also
3 and
gotta-
out every time is Gallant.
You also got to see with, I think Sullivan, Cooper, Bednar, Brind'Amour to a lesser extent. They inherited just phenomenal cores,
They did.
and not only skill wise but leadership wise. So that is a powerful tool for any coach if they have that, which can obviously lengthen their shelf life on a specific team. But yeah, you see all these and all the coaches that we named, they've all had success pretty much everywhere they go. It's just a matter of
What they
taking
have
that next
available.
step. Yeah, and
Yeah.
also, if they do have, the tools that I just mentioned, and the leadership too. That the leadership, a good leader, a great captain, is a coach's best friend. So if you're able to have that, and
But
t-
those
so
those coaches that you mentioned, though, they've been able to continuously
Oh.
probably reinvent themselves in a sense so that their message doesn't get stale. Like a lot of times a coach will just starts falling on deaf ears after a while, and those guys have been able to make sure that whatever they're doing, they're not getting stale in the locker room, and all their things are working. And
Yeah.
it's that is a skill in itself as well. So aside from, like you mentioned, having those captains and those cores that are going to help you, but having that relationship too could be like the captain coming like, hey coach, that's not really working anymore. You might want to think about like having a confident captain being able to go to your coach and say, and have that give and take. Not that that captain wants to start coaching the team, but at the same time, like having that open line of communication to be like, hey, coach, the guys aren't too thrilled right now. You might want to look at something like that's big as well.
Yep. Agreed. All right. Turning this quickly to Dallas, because I want to do the preview there, and then we're going to get on to Rangers Panthers, and then we'll talk about the teams that have been ousted. So obviously Dallas is waiting for the winner of Edmonton Vancouver. Is it, the team that wins? Are we assuming that they're going to get not spanked, because these are very good teams? If Vancouver wins, it'll actually be the first time in, I think it was almost 20 years, that each conference winner is the team representing.
I think ever.
Yeah,
I think
I don't think
ever.
it was ever. I thought there was one other. I thought it was like 20 years ago.
This will be the
Maybe
first time I think where it's going to be the four. If Vancouver wins, it'll be the four. It'll be the four conference or division champions in the conference finals. I think it's the first time because the most we've gotten there is 3. So, but yeah, having a division champion, regardless of who it is in the Stanley Cup final from the conference finals, is going to be big if they can get there.
yeah, I think this is also, like I was saying before, this is like the first time we're actually seeing like the best teams advancing, and you don't have that. We didn't have an upset, not a single upset.
No, not one. And if you look at the standings at the beginning of the playoffs, the only 2 matchups that would have been different,
because Boston was
had it been a straight
Boston
1
was
through
ahead
8.
of Toronto.
Yeah, but had it been a straight 1 through 8, if you looked at the matchups for both conferences, it would only been the 2 middle series in the West that would have been flip flopped. All the East would have been the same, and this 2 middle series and in the West would have flip flopped. But it's really the reseeding that I think people get annoyed that they don't do.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to promote that whole in
they want a result
matchups.
They want a result
and rivalries.
Yeah, they want a result kind of like what they're hoping to get should Vancouver go on to win and have all your division champions in the conference finals.
And
Yeah,
I
feel
I'd
like
rather
it
see
is
the rivalries
ultimate goal.
later in the playoffs, not immediately.
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
could,
But the first round is usually the most like entertaining out of I think
Yeah,
all the
It
rounds.
can-
Just
it
by
It
then,
is.
this
Most
time
part,
it
yeah.
gets
Although this first round wasn't all that exciting. There's a lot of
yeah.
no.
teams
Yeah.
booted from the tournament real fast.
But so,
Yeah.
so do you guys think
Some
that
rightfully so.
is it pretty much just Dallas wiping out either Vancouver or Edmonton, depending on which one they get? Do you think anyone stands a better chance? Is it
I
really
mean, I
Edmonton
have
because of the two players?
probably, yeah. Edmonton's got Draisaitl and McDavid, and that's
Could
got to
change,
be. I
game
mean,
changes.
Dallas just handled Colorado, and Colorado is loaded. Obviously, they have a couple weaknesses, but they are a loaded team, and Dallas handled them pretty well. I don't know why they wouldn't be able to handle either of these two teams, but you just kind of never know. It's always a matchup thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I were to say one has a chance over the other, I'd say probably Edmonton does, just because they have McDavid and Draisaitl. But I do expect Dallas to win. I don't know. I haven't thought about how many games yet, but I do expect Dallas to come out of the West. Still.
But if you look at the way that Dallas played Colorado, with Colorado's high-powered offense and Jake Ottinger kind of playing so-so right now, Colorado
Middling,
was
yeah.
able to stick in. Colorado was able to stick close into that series because there were a couple games where Dallas was up big and it got really close at the end. So unless Ottinger kind of picks it up, if it's Edmonton that goes through to play Dallas, it could be it could go either way at that point. If
There's
Ottinger
still a bit of a
doesn't pick
shootout.
up a game. It could be
Yeah.
a shootout because
I
there
also
were
think-
were a lot of games where
Yeah.
it became really close at the end because the goaltending wasn't there for Dallas, which is really weird because Ottinger is really good.
I just don't think
I also
Edmonton.
think-
If we're talking Edmonton, I don't think they have enough depth.
And Dallas
No, but
sitting
they've got
this
that
whole
scoring
time.
prowess,
I
though.
hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it when the teams are
Rested.
sitting waiting for the other team that is
Just wait.
playing. I think that first game is always
Yeah, it could be a
It's what-
mess.
It happened to
never good.
Boston, right?
what I'm
Boston
saying, like,
Boston
Dallas
beat
could-
Florida
Dallas
the
could
first game.
have a shit game one, and then they find themselves already down. And if it's to Edmonton,
Mm-hmm.
that could be hard to come back from. But I don't know. I don't see Dallas losing to either of these teams. I really don't. I
Not
think
with the
they're just too-
goaltending that
They have
that
every
Edmonton has.
position. Like they have depth at every single position, and
Yeah, the goaltending,
Skill.
the defense.
They're-
Me and Steve were talking about it. The defense is the best in the league, let alone
Dallas
left,
is
right.
Yeah,
They're,
that's the best
they're
unit.
hands down the best.
Mhm.
Actually, I know, and not counting the two Canada teams right now, but you have arguably three of the top 5 to 10 defenses still left in the playoffs. We know Carolina was very good, but obviously Carolina Panthers have a very good defense. Rangers defense is also very good. It's top 10 clearly. It's good to see good defensive structured teams and good defensemen playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs because too many times you're waiting to have a star like Toronto or some of these other Edmonton. I know they have Bouchard, but he's really offensive minded. They don't really have any else to kind of work with, but yeah, it's three extremely good defenses there, and we'll see what happens between Vancouver and Edmonton for Game 7. But
Be a good one.
all right, let's do it. Rangers Panthers preview.
Ooh.
Yep. Shorts guy's obviously upset because he keeps picking horrible picks in his matchups, and he's
I'm gonna
about ready
keep
to do
picking
another one.
against them. Yep, I'm going to keep picking against them.
All right, so clearly, when you look at this matchup, Panthers are heavily favored. I think it was minus 190, which is crazy for to put that against a team that just had the President's Trophy. But Florida's humming on all cylinders. They're a very good team. I'm first one to admit it. In goaltending, I think Rangers clearly have the advantage. I know Bob has played well in the playoffs, but if you look at his season this year in the playoffs, he's not been good. He's a sub 900 save percentage. I believe it's 880 or something. It's not good. Shesterkin's a better goaltender. A short guy you can give all the looks you want. He is. You can't deny that. Defensively, though, it's close. I think it's a little slightly advantage to Panthers. I think the Rangers have the best overall defenseman. But depth-wise, Forsling is awesome. He's very underrated, and he gets paid, but he's very underrated. Obviously, Montour and Ekblad, and you go out on the list. These guys are true professionals. Miller's has had a good series, a good playoffs. Truba sucks. We all know that. And you look at guys like Schneider, who's played well in spurts. Gustafson, same thing. Lindgren's had some plays. He was not good in the Washington series, but he came on in the Carolina series and led to that game-winning goal on Kreider. Forwards, you can slide off Kachuk and Panarin. They're both MVP candidates this year, right? You can slide off Verhage and Kreider, but Barkov is clearly better than Zibanejad. And you start going, the depth that Florida has is just, it outnumbers what the Rangers have. And I know they're going to bring back Hedel in the series. There's talks about even Wheeler coming in for Roslovic, some other things. We'll see what happens. But, I just think that this team, Florida, is legit, and it's going to come down to the matchups with the Rangers and the power play and the goaltending. And I'm going to pick the Rangers in 7 because I have them losing to Seattle, to Dallas in the Stanley Cup final. But they've proven that they can come back, and that's a big thing, right? You go down and you don't give up, and you come back and you win games, and they've done it all season, all series. And yeah, I think they take it in 7, but it's going to be tough. And if the Rangers pull a Rempe and put him in because of the snarl and grit, that's going to lose them the series quicker because you need talent against this team. Let them go and do stupid shit. Montour and Lomberg and all these idiots out there, Sam Bennett, let them do dumb stuff, make them pay on the penalty on the power play, and that's how you're going to beat this team.
Well, your owner also just lost his cash cow in the Knicks being out of the playoffs. So he wants Rempe in the lineup. But at the same time, you guys have not yet faced a good goalie. So, you are facing a good goalie for the first time.
Good goalie is what, top 10? I mean, Anderson's a top 15. He's better than half the league. Anderson. He is.
Anderson didn't play almost the entire season.
Yeah.
But I think if you're going to draft 15 goalies or 16 goalies, 32
playing
teams,
against
and
Bob,
Anderson-
playing against Anderson, and what's his name?
Anderson's career playoff numbers?
Playing against Florida.
Yeah,
Have we seen
this is
Anderson's
going to be
career playoff
totally
numbers?
different. They're probably not good. I mean, he was
Okay.
great
Yeah,
against the
they're
Islanders.
Worse than that.
He was great against the
will
Islanders,
find
but he
out.
made some dumb decisions against the Rangers, and it cost him. That Kreider goal and not covering it properly led to that comeback to begin. So
it was a bad one.
it's you're playing against Bob, and Bob, if Bob wants to turn it on, Bob can be lights out.
He hasn't done it yet, so we'll see if he does it.
Well, he could do it now because remember he did it all the way till the Cup Finals last year and couldn't bring it in the finals. So maybe he's going to turn it on this. But Bob has not played. You're throwing around those numbers, but if you watch Bob playing, Bob has not played terribly. He's played very well. So this is the first time you're facing a good goaltender. And yeah, I'll give you Shesterkin's a really good goalie, but Shesterkin also was facing a lot of shots with Carolina, which just throws everything at the net. If you watch Shesterkin and you get in his way, you go east-west and you get some tips, they're going in. So his numbers could be artificially inflated because he faced about 50 shots a game against Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina just shoots from everywhere, no matter what.
From
But,
everywhere.
Yeah, but if we're going to pretend like he didn't make awesome saves, I mean, you weren't watching the games because he was clearly
awesome
the best
saves.
player on the ice for those 6 games. He
No,
was.
Even
the
in the
best
lo-
the best
even in the
player on the
losses.
ice for you. The best player for you in Game 6 was the post, because that saved your ass in Game 6. If it wasn't for the post twice, you would have lost that
Post
game.
counts.
It would have been 4-1, 4-2, whatever. At that point, you would have lost.
You saved your
that
ass
was-
in World War II. You saved your ass in
So-
World War III. That's true.
Yeah, so you're facing a good goalie for the first time, so we'll see how your team reacts to that. And you know damn well
Most
damn
of
well
these guys have
your owner's
faced
going to
other
want
good
Rempe in the
goaltenders
lineup.
before.
Yeah, but this is different. This is the playoffs, man. And you haven't faced a good goalie in the first 2 series.
I just think Florida as a whole is just they're just a better team. I know the Rangers just won the President's Trophy. I think Florida was making a run, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, they were both
competing
top
for it.
3.
So I think Florida, the Rangers were more. They had that, I think, one pretty bad lull in the last quarter of the season or whatever that was. But Florida for the most part, the Rangers for the most part
Was
were
one of
very
the top
consistent
teams.
through the season. Yeah, they started
Yeah.
out hot and they stayed that way for a long time, so they had the benefit of being there. And anyway, regardless of that, I think Florida, yeah, as far as comparing teams, Washington was they might as well have not have showed up. So that was just a little warm up for the Rangers there. Carolina, I think Rod Brindamore's system was a little bit exploited there, where he gives maybe not more opportunities than like a bad defensive team, but his system does give up opportunities, and the Rangers are a very opportunistic team. So if you're going to give them those opportunities, they're probably going to score on them. And they didn't get to where they are. They didn't get to the number one team in the NHL just by dumb luck. Obviously, Shesterkin, I agree with you, Dean. Shesterkin is a better goaltender than Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky is a better goaltender than both Lindgren and Anderson. And I think it will make a difference. I don't know it's going to be the difference because I don't think it's going to come down to a goalie battle, although I do think Shesterkin is really going to have to be the best player on the Rangers in order to get through this series.
Agreed.
He is.
And if he is, that's how they win. They have to win based on his back.
And at some point that could be a negative because he could burn out. He faced a lot of shots.
What I'll say is he's played only 10 games this series.
Use a lot of effort in this series and win it, and then get steamrolled in the finals because they put so much into this series to beat Florida. Because that's what it might take to beat this freaking team. This Florida team is no joke, man.
I'm more if I'm the Rangers, I'm more worried about I think Florida's just going to beat the piss out of them.
That's what I say.
They're a mean series. We all know who's going to be in the lineup then.
Dirty.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter.
Too.
And you go back
coming
to
in, you watch.
Oh, he's in game too. Absolutely.
He's not in unless someone gets hurt.
They're going to overreact. Dolan's going to cry to have him in.
It's the same thing as Maroon.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the same thing. Yeah. Steve and I were talking about this. Maroon against the Panthers. No one was going to fight him, and they were going to continue. He tried to get them to fight him. No one's going to fight him. So they're not going to play that game. They're not going to fight Rempe. There's no point in it.
Yeah. There's no point. I agree.
But there is a bit of a difference because Rempe's dirty. Maroon's not as dirty as Rempe.
Well,
he's dirty. Don't give me that. He's a.
Oh no. I agree, I'm saying Maroon is dirty too. Let's not pretend he's
but not as
powder puff.
So, Maroon is and I said that not as
Maroon's a big trash talker, and then he fights.
I like how the guy's been here for 30-something games. He had 2 horrible elbow penalties. I agree, 2 horrible ones, very bad. But all of a sudden, he's the dirtiest player. Is pretty crazy.
Because he's stupid. He's young and stupid. That's why.
He is. He's young and stupid. I'm hoping that he grows.
He's young and stupid, and he's unpredictable.
All right, quickly.
It's not like a Martian that's. It's not a Martian that's strategically dirty.
He's not a strong enough player. You need a strong. Florida is so deep, and you can't just put a guy in there just for that role. You need to have guys that can play through all of that, because that's not gonna. He's not gonna dissuade or deter Florida from doing anything. If he does try, and
he's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, exactly right. If your coach, if your coach is like, if this is a 1-goal game, this guy's not getting a single shift in the third period. If you're doing that in the playoffs, now in the 90s, I mean, you saw that all the time.
It's a waste of a space.
Oh yeah,
because the top 2 lines and the third and fourth line never saw any ice time, especially if it went to overtime. But yeah, it's a waste of a roster spot, and you have guys who are way more effective. And any of the guys that you named that could come back, obviously Hedl, you're 100% putting Hedl in over Rempe, and I'd probably even put Blake Wheeler in over Rempe. To be honest with you, I don't know.
I put Johnny Brodzinski. Johnny Brodzinski's a better player.
Roslovic, all of them are better. I think Rempe just will. If they're down 3-0 and they're just getting the piss beat out of them, maybe you throw them in Game 4. That would be my only, a situational thing, or down 3-1, something like that, to spark the lineup or whatever you want to call it. But no, I'd like I said, I mean, I'm going to end up picking Florida just because they should win. Doesn't mean they will win. Because I still stand by. I think Carolina probably should have.
Had they had goaltending, they would have.
Well, yeah, but I mean. The Rangers still the Rangers took full advantage of what Carolina gave them, and that is the reason why they moved on. That's the reason why they were up 3-0 in the series.
Mhm.
You mean you give them those chances, they're going to finish it, and Shesterkin's going to backstop you. And then they're up 3-1 going into the third period, game 6, everything riding high, and they just completely crumbled. And I didn't expect that to happen, not out of
No,
Carolina.
I didn't either.
But anyway, I mean, the Rangers are here because they should be. They should be in the Eastern Conference Finals, I think. So, I mean, even though I did pick Carolina, I think they should be. But I was banking on Carolina goaltending being, better than average and maybe helping them out there. But yeah, that didn't happen. So here we are. But again, I'm not going to until tonight's game is decided. I'll pick the games, but I'm thinking I'm probably still picking Florida. I'll give you the amount of games at another time.
Here's a shirt for some. A bandwagon T-shirt says "wagon" in the Rangers fonts.
They make it all the time for everybody. I literally saw it for the other 3 teams.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a couple fans going to you're the away team.
Just like the Jersey.
Oh no, you're the home. No, you're the home because you're the president.
I'm going to be by the way. So I'll give you a first
you
round.
know that there's going to be a bunch of Ranger fans walking in that building cutting tags off the jerseys they just bought on the way to the game.
Probably. Especially the tickets for game 1 are $600, and then game 7, if it goes that far, is $900. So it's going to be expensive. Yes.
Wait, that's face value.
That's on secondary market right now.
Secondary market is always
That's
real
the lowest
crappy
ticket.
barometer, but
Lowest
it's always a
ticket
really crappy
one.
barometer.
Yeah,
I want to know face value because face value.
I'll take a photo of my ticket and I'll send you guys.
I'm curious. No, I'm definitely
10
curious.
rows off the ice, so I can imagine this ticket's pretty expensive. So
I would assume so, but
Ray Leo brings up a good point that the Rangers are probably going to have 7 home games based on how their fans show up in Florida. Also,
probably, yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
And do you see the Carolina fans that are like, we have to make it a state law that if you go to a game, you cannot wear the other team's paraphernalia at their home arena? I'm like, are we serious here? You guys are because you have no fans that come to your game and people flock from other teams.
Regular season too. There's a lot of teams, especially on the East Coast, that you hear the fans when they score. You hear.
Unfortunately, yeah. I know. I deal with it all the time. Assholes.
What happens first? Devils hire a coach, or the Rangers get eliminated? Yeah, I mean,
who asked that one?
Take a little while. That was Ray too.
Yeah, Ray. You know, we're not hiring a coach for a little while.
Yeah, you guys are. Yeah.
I'd rather them take time, though. I'd rather them take time and get it right.
Yeah, no. That's you want to get it right, right?
The more time you take, the more likely the big coaches will be gone.
I know you might lose out on somebody.
Yeah. We might, but if who they're interviewing is not the right fit for the team, then I don't want them.
You talked about Anderson and his record.
They just shoot somewhere else.
Did you actually look up his record, Steve, and his stats?
Yeah, it's actually not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, he's 38-30, a 2.46 goals against average, a 9.14 save percentage, 3 shutouts. In the Cup Finals run that the Ducks made in 2014-15, he was 11-5. Yeah, he was 11-5.
Wait, who's this again?
This is Frederik
Anderson.
He's actually really good. He was 11-5.
He was awful in Toronto. True, but then again, so did everybody else.
No one's good in Toronto in net.
He also, I don't think he was very good the first year. Was it the first year that Carolina went to the playoffs with him?
Yeah, he was 5-3 with a 183 goals against and a 927 save percentage.
Has Toronto had a good goalie since Cujo?
No, they haven't. But his Cup final run, Frederik Anderson, he had a 234 goals against a 923 save percentage in that Cup final run.
And what year was that?
That was 14-15.
Like
his 3 years, in Toronto, he went 268, 915, a 376, 896, and a 275, 922. Those were his 3 worst years in the playoffs. And other seasons, his last season in Toronto, he was 184 and a 936 in a 5-game loss and 5 losses, or in the 3-game losses.
And I'm not saying he's a terrible goalie, but it just seems like that there were moments where he turned off for a split second, and it led to a goal. Like he had
that one banking goal. That banking goal.
For Lafreniere.
Carolina ended up winning that game, but that was
he played that completely wrong. He played that completely wrong. It's
his worst year save percentage was actually this year. He had 895 save percentage. That was his worst
in the
year
playoffs.
in 1, 2,
Well.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 runs.
I believe it. I also don't like
Mhm.
the fact that they decided they were going to put Kochetkov in. That didn't help
That was
anything.
dumb.
Oh, Anderson
So
needs
dumb.
a rest.
So
It's like
that
the
was one of the
Bruins.
things. But that was one of the things going into the playoffs is they were saying that Anderson hadn't played more than 2 or 3 in a row. So they were wondering if he was going to be able to handle that workload.
Yeah, his
So
injuries over the last couple of years
his
have been pretty.
Mhm.
they have been,
He's injured
and
every
injuries
single year.
injuries
Guy's
take a
never
He didn't
toll on
play
you
at all last
mentally.
year, right? Yeah, he wasn't even there last year. He was out the
No.
entire
Yeah.
playoffs.
And when these
Yeah.
teams start
It-
dipping into 2 and 3 goalies, there's no way you're taking a
No.
team the whole way. There's no way.
No, you have to have one. You have to have one, and you have to pick that one, and you have to go with it.
Like I said, with
No.
the
'Cause
way
that's
the
what
way that
Boston did with
Carolina
Swayman.
handles it, the way Carolina handles it is the way Edmonton handles it. They bring in a couple of goalies and just hope one of them gets hot, and you just ride the hot hand. And that's no
Yeah.
way to approach the playoffs.
Not at all.
But
Mm-mm. Nope,
Yeah.
nope. Especially
All right.
especially in the East, you need that good
And that's
goal
why
in
I'm
the
worried
East.
about Edmonton tonight because I think Skinner can just have
Skinner?
an absolute crap game and then that's
It's
it.
possible because he's Skinner. And
I mean,
it's
I
the
wouldn't mind
Western
Vancouver
Conference.
winning, to be honest. I actually
wouldn't
don't
mind-
care.
I
if it
don't-
comes out of that
I
team.
hope Vancouver wins. I think I
I wouldn't
picked
mind
Vancouver,
seeing
but
Vancouver
I
win.
want
I
Vancouver
think
to
I
win.
picked Edmonton, but I wouldn't mind Vancouver.
I picked Edmonton.
But they're
Yeah.
but they're screwed if they don't get Demko back with Shelov's in net. I think
Yeah.
next series.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
screwed.
even with Demko, but still, Demko will be a big.
All right, let's
boost, but-
quickly talk about the teams that are ousted real fast, and then and what's happening, and also the award winners quickly. You had Barkov winning the Selke. That happened 2 days ago. You have Connor Ingram with the Masterton, and then someone who should not be named winning the Mark Messier Leadership Award.
Yeah.
The next up is
Yeah,
Jack
come on.
Adams, which happens on Wednesday. That's between Bonus, Burnett, and Tocchet. King Clancy's on the 28th, Lady Bing's the 30th, and then the bigger stuff comes after the Cup Finals.
Yeah.
All right. We talked about Carolina, but they bring Brindamore back on a 5-year deal, so they bring back their coach, which smart, right? You're not going to get rid of the face of your franchise, and just the
Yeah.
fact that you let it go that long was dumb. But he comes back. His staff is re-up for another 2 years each, so that's good. But they're going to lose a
The rest of
ton
the
of
team is
free
in
agents.
question. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Possible. Yeah.
their top 2 guys have to be Jarvis and Slavin, right? That's Slavin's your assistant captain. He's the heart of your defense. And then Jarvis is a very good young RFA, so he's a primetime guy. But after that, Gensel, Brady Shea, Neckass, Pesci, Drury, Martinook. I know you guys love when I say it. It's Neckas, right? But
Natchez.
Isn't it Natchez?
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like CH.
I said it
without
wrong
the H.
last night. I
I
said it
know.
wrong last night, and I immediately said I Billy Deaned his name.
But Gensel, Shea, Natchez, Pesci, Drury, Martinook, Nason, Teravainen, Chatfield, D'Angelo are all UFAs or RFAs. Like that's their entire team.
I think there's a good chunk of those UFAs you can let walk, though.
Yeah. Anderson has 1 year left. Kochetkov has 3. They only have one D-man signed past next season, which is Scott Morrow, their rookie that they signed from UMass. So obviously the UFAs, but something that I heard that they could possibly do is buying out Kotkaniemi, which he's got 6
Yeah,
years
also
left at
terrible-
$4.8
terrible
million
contract.
per year.
Terrible.
$5 million a year for a fourth line center. 6 more years left. They could buy him out for
Scratched
1/3
like every
cap
other
hit.
game.
Yeah. And they have $27 million in cap. So this team as constructed is
They're gonna
long
look.
gone.
They're gonna look totally
Yeah,
different next
Totally
year.
different.
And they
Because I
might
expect
be
them to go get a
horrible.
goalie.
That's
Yeah.
my worry. That's my worry. Is they're going to go get a goalie. They're going to be in the same shallow goalie pool that the Devils are currently trying to navigate as well.
And the team in front of them might be shit.
I know.
I'm
I
not
know.
convinced they are going to go get a goalie. They haven't yet. Why would they change now? So
They haven't
we'll
yet,
see.
but they also saw him not. They also saw Anderson, kind of blow it for them in the playoffs.
Well, it's just I'm telling you, I
healthy.
find them to be just like Edmonton. Except they're not as flawed defensively, but just like Edmonton handling the goaltender.
They're not at all flawed defensively.
no.
But I'm saying as far as goaltending goes, I think them and Edmonton are exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's a priority, to be honest. I think it sounds like, based on listening to Jake Gensel talk, it sounds like they're going to keep him.
I was
but
going
it's
to
gonna
ask.
be
I don't think they
I,
can.
w-
it's
I
gonna be
w-
a
I
big
was going
chunk
to
of
ask
change.
if he was going to
That's
go
a
back
10 million
to
cap
Pittsburgh.
hit. That's a 10
No,
million
he's not
cap
going to.
hit.
He'll probably get
He's
about
not gonna-
unless they offer him something ridiculous. But I'm assuming he's going to be somewhere around 8-ish,
See, I would have thought
8,
9 at
8.5.
least.
Hmm.
I would have thought 9 at the low
8
end.
years. 8 years is going to put him, 38, right? 38,
Yeah.
36, 38
Yeah.
years old at the end of that contract.
Yeah.
That's. I don't know that he has the longevity. I mean, he's obviously still a great
Plays
player and
tough.
did
Plays
great
hard.
things there. Yeah, but he gets manhandled, and
Yeah, he
he
does.
did, and he suffered through a lot. But I don't
He
know. We'll see.
he cannot beat the Rangers. I think his career playoff record against the Rangers is over, which is nice.
But against Pittsburgh, when he played for Pittsburgh, I wouldn't blame him for that because he
No.
was lights out.
I know. I'm just saying he went there
Playing
and
their
he got it again.
fourth string goalie.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, Boston. DeBrusk, Heinen, Maroon, JVR, Grzelcyk, Shattenkirk, all UFAs. Swayman's an RFA, but he's going to get signed. We know that. He's going to be one of their core players.
Allmark will go.
The thing is, they're
offer
going to
sheet
trade
him. The
Allmark.
Devils need to offer sheet him. Let's do it. Let's see it happen finally. Throw an offer sheet for Swayman.
Swayman? Oh, yeah. And then
Do it.
they need
Screw
a
the
center
Bruins.
for Pasta. They need a center for Pasta. Coyle and obviously Pavel Zacha did very well this year. Career years for both of them, but they're not guys you want to have long term.
but career
your number
years
one
for
center.
both of them isn't really saying much because they're both third liners. So,
Yeah, they're the perfect 2-3s. You need a 1, and then all the
Yeah.
people in Boston are like, let's get Stamkos. I'm sure Schwinn will love to hear that one.
Yeah.
But $20 million in cap, they need someone for Pasta, and I'm sure that this is a year that maybe they go out and kind of grab someone. But yeah, I would think that Ullmark, they're going to bring back either a defenseman or a forward for him, and go from there. Colorado,
Dubois.
last team.
bring in Dubois. There's your number one center.
Yeah.
God,
Oh my God, yeah.
he's a
He
train wreck.
is such a disaster. There's just the fact that they were thinking about buying him out in a first year of a deal is bonkers.
At some point, at some point, he's going to have no other team to go to, and we all know where he's going to end up in the
Yeah.
KHL.
KHL, yeah. Colorado, last team. Mikko Rantanen has 1 year left, but the major cap for them is tied up between Valeri Nichushkin, who has obviously the issue with drug abuse, substance abuse.
Something, yeah.
He's got 6 years, $6 million per year, and then Gabriel Landeskog, 5 more years, $7 million per. So they have $14 million tied up between two guys that are going to be on the IR. So they have to keep that money open for when they come back during the season. Casey Middlestat's an
Nichushkin
RFA.
doesn't go on. That's a different. That doesn't go under
No,
LTIR.
so
that goes under something
It doesn't,
else,
but
right?
the cap does not count. Yeah, the cap does not count.
Right, but they don't gain
Yeah.
like the
No.
stuff
Well,
that they do.
they get the
for
cap
being on
space.
LTIR.
They get the cap
Do they
space.
get-
Yeah,
cap
just
space?
get his cap space. Yeah.
Yeah, but so kind of with that, it is like LTIR. There's not like it's the same thing. They can use that cap for something else, but they just have to have it available when he comes back off of his.
Yeah, that is a weird.
6-month hit.
Ray just brought up a weird point. He's suspended without pay, but his cap hit still counts. So that's kind of a
No,
weird.
it doesn't. His cap hit does not count.
Oh, so it's just
It's-
off the books.
It's off the books, completely off the books.
And then after 6 months, whether or not they decide to bring him back is if it comes.
Yeah,
back,
well, he has to
bless
do
you.
that whole thing where he has to like appeal to the league if he can come back. So
Yeah.
he might not come back after 6 months.
And then I guess his
Yeah.
contract can be terminated. I don't know how it works.
His
we'll talk
contract
about that at
cannot
some
be
other
terminated because I think the age that he's too young to be terminated. But they could do a mutual buyout. This is all through Friedman. I'm not pretending like I know
Yeah.
all too much, but I was reading some stuff on him and then I heard it from the podcast. So, but yeah, I mean, between him and Landeskog, they have all this money tied into two guys that are really important for them. Let's put it this way:
Probably-
Nichushkin had 10
And very likely
Nichushkin
should
had
never play
10
for them
goals in the
again.
playoffs. Yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
KHL bound.
Him
yeah.
and
Middle
Dubois can
stats-
start their own team in Europe.
Besides
Yeah.
Landeskog.
Yeah, Middlestat's an RFA. Walker and Drouin are both UFAs. They should be resigned. Especially Drouin had a really good year for them. He finally found a place.
Probably keep him relatively cheap too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
think you'd
really
have
the
to spend that for
decision
him.
is that goaltender. Does Georgiev, who has 1 year left, is he a guy you just roll out there and try to be a number one again, or do you bring in some competition for him? So
Yeah,
After
they
the
need-
I will say
goalie pool
this:
right now is
after
really
game one-
shallow.
Oh, it's bad. Yeah,
It's so
bad.
shallow right now.
That's
And
why
then everybody
Olmark
talks about
and
trades, and the
Soros.
trades don't happen.
But
I
that's
know,
I think
know.
this offseason, I think Olmark and Soros. I mean, unless
I don't know that
they really are
Soros.
not.
I mean,
They're
I
going to
don't
be able
know
to get.
necessarily
They
that
could
Soros
possibly
goes.
get. They could possibly get Mitch Marner for UC Soros. I think you have to
Yeah.
take that, especially considering Askarov. If you think he's that guy, if you don't think he's that guy, then you're not trading him.
It's
But
a
if
risk.
you think he's,
That's a risk.
if you think
That's
he's
a risk to take, though. The
true,
Devils were hoping that they had it with Akira Schmid.
but
That's-
he
but
was.
the thing
He's
is, like,
not. He's not Askarov. Schmid was
Yeah,
never a
Askarov
prospect
needs to
before.
have Askarov needs to at least like have a 50-50. Because
Yeah, he
right
can't
now
be-
his
he can't be
NHL,
playing.
I don't
He's
think his
gotta be
NHL
worked in.
stats are great.
He's
gotta
got to
be
be
playing.
worked in.
Can't just here you go.
Listen,
you're
I'll be his
starter now.
1B. I'll be his 1B.
Well,
I have no
Lankinen's
problem with
still
that.
there.
I mean, I'll do it. I'm available.
think
I'm
you
a
gotta-
free agent.
I think you got to fire your agent because at 41 years old without an NHL contract, I think
Yeah, you're
Schwim's
not
doing
getting-
you dirty over there.
He is. He is.
Yeah,
And I'll take
the
league minimum.
greasiest,
I'll take below league
agent in all
minimum.
the land.
Yeah, seriously. You know who I need to get? I need to get Tommy Cutlett's former agent. He's available.
Yeah.
I'll
Crazier
get
than
him.
Schwim.
He's one of those.
He's-
He's
Schwim, you need
isn't
that
he
type
in,
of hat.
the Italian Hall of Fame.
I should get one.
I think he's in the Italian Hall of Fame.
Who, Tommy Cutlets?
Who,
Yeah, Tommy
me?
Cutlett's
Oh.
agent is in the Italian Hall of Fame.
Faison.
My son's called. My sister went to it. The real
God.
thing. I shit you not.
God.
Why did you not go Schwim? You really should have
I
gone.
don't know.
Lastly, because we haven't talked about them, Dallas Stars obviously in the conference finals.
It goes without saying. It goes without
They're
saying.
a wagon, but their 2017 draft: Miro Heiskanen, Jake Ottinger, and then Nick Robertson. Matthew Robertson.
Jason Robertson?
Jason?
Yeah, Jason. Yeah, I'm
Matt.
all over the place here. But what about their 2021 draft? Wyatt Johnston, who is lighting the playoffs
Tearing
on
it up.
fire, is
Yeah,
nasty.
he's on fire.
Stankoven as a second-round pick, a little small
Greatest
guy, but
name
he is
in the
just
league right now.
really awesome. And the pick that they traded to get Brandon Tanev,
Chris
they're
Tanev?
Chris Tanev. But they're a wagon, and I still think they're the Stanley Cup favorite. They are so good, especially if Ottinger turns his game around.
So where's
but yeah,
Tanev going next year?
he
he's a
could
rental,
resign
right?
there. I think they have the cap.
It
they have
depends
the
on
cap
if,
available.
depends on if he wins. If he wins, then he'll take whatever
Leave.
contract. If
Yeah.
he doesn't win, I can see him staying in Dallas
staying.
on like
Yep.
another
Yep.
year.
Yeah.
Same with Duchesne, right? Duchesne was on a 1 year. Did he resign? I don't
Duchesne,
remember.
yes, 1 year. Yeah.
You know what surprised me? Even through as well as Dallas has been doing, I don't have the stats in front of me now, but I do remember it was game 5 maybe of this series, maybe game 4, and Pavelski scored his first goal of the playoffs. I was
Yes.
like, that is.
He did not have a good
Pavelski,
series.
Pavelski is
He's
like
been on a dry
he's like
spell.
he's like playoff superhero Pavelski,
Yeah,
and
not
he's
this year.
been Well, I mean, age can finally catch up to you,
Yeah.
but
Chris,
Dallas
he's
is
39,
rolling
right?
without him.
Hey,
So
we'll take him on Bone Storm. We'll take him on
True.
Bone
Yeah.
Storm and Toothless.
We take Pat Maroon on Bone Storm. He won a.
I also felt bad
championship.
for Brett Burns because
I
you could
love
see at the end he was looking pretty sad, and of course Tony D'Angelo goes up and comforts him. I'm like, can we not see Tony D'Angelo anymore?
Tony
but yeah, I
D'Angelo's
felt
staying
bad
in
for
the
I hope
South.
he comes back to the Rangers.
Oh my
Yep,
god,
that's what's coming.
I don't think he will.
coming.
The way he ended it, I don't think.
Tony
The
only
D'Angelo wearing the
player-
Ranger white.
The
He's gonna
only
sign
player in
D'Angelo in
NHL
Ranger
history
And then Tampa's going to fleece the Rangers, trade him for Lafreniere.
for
and
Tony
that's it.
D'Angelo.
That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep. You're going to
Um,
get Tony back
the-
that way.
the only
Tony
player in
D,
NHL
back
history
in the
to be
Rangers.
cut from his contract twice, to be bought out twice. Fantastic.
Tony D.
Uh,
Tony D. Best looking in
quickly-
the Ranger whites.
Some stats leaders. Leon Draisaitl leads the league with playoff points with 23 in 11 games,
Yeah,
8 goals,
shocking.
15 assists.
Mhm.
Connor McDavid, 2 goals, 19 assists. He just doesn't want to shoot, which is amazing.
Which is
Evan
wild.
Bouchard with 18 points. They're the top 3. Then you have Kel McCarr at 4, and then Nugent Hopkins at 14, and then Mika Zibanejad and Vincent Trocheck at tied at 14 as well. It is Edmonton. Just the firepower is ridiculous.
They've also
You know, what happens
played,
every year?
played the most games.
These guys
right?
put up these stats and they
But,
don't win.
did they play
Imagine
the
if
most
they had a
games?
goalie.
Friggin' win finally.
Yeah,
Imagine
if they get
Edmonton had a
eliminated,
have.
goalie
if they get eliminated,
Oh, Dallas has.
tonight, if they get eliminated tonight, just pure waste of these
Every
guys
year, it's the same
is
thing.
just incredible.
Steve,
Welcome
you said
to the
it.
New Jersey
Mind-blowing.
Devils, Connor McDavid.
They have this year and next year, and that's it. Because if Draisaitl has 1 year left, McDavid has 2. If they don't see significant improvements next year, they're gone. Draisaitl will walk as a free agent.
I heard a rumor that they were both coming to the Devils.
Oh yeah.
It was a confirmed, unconfirmed rumor, and Sam Wu confirmed it. So,
You'll have to
I
give
might
up
have heard
everything.
I'd heard on
You'll
Spittin'
basically
Chicklets,
become.
they're also getting Brady Kachuk. Brady Kachuk,
Yeah.
Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid.
oh no,
line.
stop!
It's a
We're not allowed to
27.
talk. We are not
Well, for
allowed to
Chester,
talk about
yes,
Brady
to Brad.
Kachuk coming to the Devils anymore. We're not
Well,
allowed
I
to talk
can.
about that.
Yeah, we
Oh,
can.
wait a minute. It was on another podcast recently, which means that now people can talk about it because we've been talking about it
Yeah,
for
Hockey
weeks.
on Tap. It was
Oh,
on Hockey
I
on Tap.
forgot.
Start talking about it.
I
Hockey on Tap,
forgot.
yep.
I forgot because the Let's Go Devils podcast is just full of shit, according to some.
Lastly, if
Can't go a night.
no matter what,
Oh, hello.
Hey, it's
Uh,
Miss Mim, Lady Mim.
the winner
Hello,
of the
Mim.
cup this year, nice, hey, Mim. The winner of the cup this year will have broken at least a 25-year curse, 25-year, stoppage. Stars were the last team to win it 25 years ago in 1994. In 99.
99.
Then you had the Rangers in 94. You had the Oilers in 89. You had the Canucks never, and you had the Panthers never. So
Mhm.
we'll have a new, which is
You're
good.
not
I
allowed
like-
to
I
win
like
it.
there's some
You are
changes.
not allowed
Well,
to
the
win it
Panthers
until
made
at
it.
least 2048.
When the
54.
Panthers make it? 96, was it? When the
Yeah,
Panthers made it?
96. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
the year of
97.
the rat.
Was it 97 Colorado?
They got swept by Colorado. Yeah.
No, it was
Yeah.
Colorado.
No,
it
he was
96.
96.
96.
Yeah, it was
The
96. That's when
Devils were
Colorado won.
95. Yeah.
We were 95. Colorado was 96. The Rangers put Glenn Healy in the last game of the season to prevent the Devils making the playoffs. Not that I remember such things, nor am I bitter.
Haha.
Brand
You
new.
should have
Wow.
more. You have 4 cups. We have 3. You should have so many more than us. And here comes here.
Well.
Yeah. Yep. Here comes. Oh well, we played against Montreal. They had blah, 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 blah. You
Well,
should
we
have
did.
many more
We-
cups.
We did play against a
You
loaded
had to
Montreal
beat
Canadiens.
5 teams.
No one
Montreal
could
played
win.
5 teams.
No one
Montreal
could
has
win.
20 what cups? 20 something cups.
26. I think it's 26. Or no,
Nobody was
25.
winning the cup besides Montreal back then.
No. They
Well,
they
even
basically
Boston didn't
took
win.
every single player from Montreal
know.
area and kept them for their
I know.
team.
I know.
Dirty rotten
You
cheaters.
just had to beat 5 teams. You had to beat 5 teams for a very
Yeah.
long time. That's all you had to do.
Yeah, it
Beat
was
5
really
teams.
one
Had to
team.
beat
That was also
had to be
back
one
when they had
team.
that
One-
friggin'
one
rule.
team.
You can score as many times as you want on the power play. And
Yeah, and you
Montreal
forget,
friggin' steamrolled
It
people
wasn't
with that.
Yeah.
the NHL
Everything
wasn't
was a
6
major, yeah.
teams. There were other teams. There was the Montreal Maroons. There were some other teams in there. There was not as well as 76ers. There were some other teams. It's just those are the only teams that actually
I know.
stayed
I
and
just
went
like
to the NHL.
fucking with you, Billy Dean.
I know, but you guys, you Devils fans, rent free.
I want to go
dumb-
rent free somewhere.
Seriously, I want to
too.
go mortgage
Yeah.
free.
Yeah, it's miserable.
Schwim,
We can talk about that. For
Oh,
another
Schwinn.
episode some other time.
you missed
Just
it on Saturday. Billy Dean had a really good chance to the lower left, and I stretched out, got it with my glove.
Steven had a
And-
really good
and-
chance too.
Steven had a very good chance. He almost Billy Dean me.
That
So
wasn't even
I
close.
stopped.
It was
It was
close
close.
enough.
It was
Way
close
to
enough.
Close
exaggerate.
enough.
Hit the
So-
side of the net.
It was
Close
close
enough.
enough.
If I
So-
shot it 3.5 feet to the right, it might have went in.
3.5.
It might have went in
No,
net.
a foot.
No,
1 foot.
it was closer.
It would
than
have been
that.
in the
It
net.
was. It
More
was.
than a foot.
it-
More than a
it-
foot.
No, it would have been a 1 foot.
Anyway, Schwim. So I make this save to the lower left, get it with my glove, cover it. They go to the face-off, and I yell at Billy Dean like, "Hey, if I was Freddie Anderson, you would have scored that goal."
Yep.
And the only two to hear it were Billy Dean and Este, and they both
Yeah.
got a good chuckle out of it.
So then I
As we
compared you to
went out of
Shesterkin,
face-off.
which you loved. You want to be him.
What's up?
I said I compared you to Shesterkin because you want to be him.
Hey,
All right, you guys. Anything
You know what?
else before we?
if that's what I got to do to make
Head
millions
off.
in the league.
Johnny Gaudreau
I hate-
became the highest scoring American
Oh, I saw this.
in the IHF
Player.
history.
IHF.
He just surpassed Patrick Kane.
I really wish that there was better
surprising.
access
Wow.
to these international games because I cannot watch them because they're. I believe are they on the NHL Network? I don't even know.
Yeah, all of them. Every one of them.
I don't even have that. I don't
Oh,
even have that
almost
because Billy's illustrious owner has decided that NHL
I
Network
don't
is
like him
extra
either.
money.
You gotta get.
I know you don't like
Fubo.
him.
Well, mine's
Yeah, I
extra
know.
money
I gotta
too.
get. I hate it, but it's like it's extra money for like a whole bunch of channels, and I want one,
Yep.
and I don't want to
That's
pay
exactly what it is.
all of that for
Well, you
one.
get like some of the soccer channels too. I think you get like BN and stuff with it. But yeah, no, I agree. It's
And you would
my
get
kid.
the
I
local
need to
MSG
ditch
channels.
cable.
I already
Yeah, I
have the
saw that
local MSG channel.
No, I'm saying
Sweden.
without cable. If you get Fubo, you get NHL Network and all the local sports channels. That's all you really need.
Yeah.
Sweden beat France at the Worlds, and then Britain and Poland both got relegated,
Oh,
which is
Did
kind
they
of
get
funny.
relegated? Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
a good friend of the Let's Go Devils podcast, his son Jake just made the England national team for the 2013 birth years for that
Wow.
team. He's playing with the
2013.
England national team now, so he's
Jesus.
11. So it's pretty rad, and he's a really good goalie. He's a big fan of the Devils, big fan of our podcast. So Jake's doing well playing for that. He's just getting into the England national team fold now, so which is pretty cool.
it's pretty awesome. That's really
Not
cool.
No,
bad.
absolutely.
All right. Beers. My Nectar by Uproot. Thank you, Alicia. 4.25. Pretty good.
Wow.
I'll give mine a 3.75. Is okay.
Catch course is awesome.
Yeah,
Oh.
3.75.
I'll go
Nice.
3.75 as well. Not too bad.
Hey,
Shrim, take her home.
What national are we doing? National Happy
Quiche Lorraine.
National Quiche
Quiche Lorraine
Lorraine.
Day.
I don't know.
No,
what
it's
that is.
actually it was Adopt a Dog Day. So please go to your local
National Rescue.
shelters.
Yes, National Rescue.
yes.
Dog.
National Rescue Day.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Mac and Minnie.
Yeah,
Mac and Minnie.
Yeah, fantastic
There you go.
dogs. I can't get any.
Pet of
always
the month.
positives.
Yo, give
Go
some love
go
to
to your
the-
local
the
shelters.
adult kitties too. All right, go out there and get an
Yep.
adult
Him.
cat.
Yeah, get a
Yeah,
dog. Make it
absolutely.
stay.
Get a
They
senior
love you
cat.
forever. Cats love you forever. Go get them.
It's true. Michu loves my
Yeah.
dogs, only because
My
I
two
feed him.
beauties that you
Mhm.
see every week on this podcast, both rescues.
Rescues.
You can find
Yep.
you can find any breed anywhere.
Yeah. My little tread was a rescue. She was from outside.
Sarah,
Not from
take
a
us
shelter,
home.
but she was just from
She
outside.
said bye.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye, Sarah. Bye.